All right, guys, what's up? We are talking cheat meals today. Cordell, do you have cheat meals?
Cheat meals.
Cheat meals.
Yeah. Sounds like someone who wants to get fat. You know, when I justify a reason to get fat, I need a cheat meal. I don't like using the word cheat meal. I like using the word just more so maybe like a refeed or a replenishment or a high calorie meal.
You like the refeed, don't you?
Yeah, because but I love to refeed, or I love to have a cheat meal. Just that word cheating is kind of like something that you're doing that's sneaky or maybe not good for you. It kind of gives me like a turn
yeah, it seems like it creates this negative domino effect, right?
Yeah. But I think is it really a negative thing, or is the word cheat just kind of making it something that is really not? I think people misconstrue the word cheat meal. You have these athletes that go hardcore in the gym eating just tilapia and broccoli for weeks, and then they have a cheat meal, and then you have someone who follows that individual and they have their way of dieting and they say, oh yeah, I've been dieting, I need a cheat meal now. It's been a week. Every week I need a cheat meal. And I think it can create some kind of addictions or some kind of negativity towards food. I don't think you should have to worry about, cheating when it comes to any food at all. I think it's just more so timing, balance, and then actually knowing when you need to have quote unquote, cheat meal or refeed meal, in my opinion.
It's funny, like as I'm listening to you say these things, like a bunch of things are popping into my mind.
I bet.
And it's like, I think by like, hey, I need to, like I've been really clean for the week, I need to have a cheat meal. I think by thinking that way, you're already kind of doing yourself thinking that you need to have that day off.
Exactly.
And I'm sure, what's the longest you've dieted for without a day off? Like I'm probably 3-4 months, right?
I was going to say 12 weeks probably.
Yeah, probably maybe not necessarily easy, but once you've got your diet in check, I'm sure it hasn't actually been that hard either.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But I think thinking that you got to have a cheat meal every week, that subconsciously makes you crave it and want it and think about it and psychologically.
Yes.
Can you relate to that?
It can relate. It can lead you down the wrong rabbit hole.
Whereas if you get especially you get your fats right, you get your salts right, you get your water right, chances are you probably don't even think about it or need it.
That's the thing.
Especially like when you're in keto or something. It's the last thing you think about is having a cheat meal or sugar.
Yeah, keyword you said is need it, because you can be, on a weight loss journey and week after week you're getting progress. If you're getting progress, why would you assume you need to have a cheat meal or a refeed meal? Those are usually
mentally, right?
That too. They're used as tools. Like I would say, if you're going to have that kind of meal, it would be a tool. Hey, Brendan's been dieting for 12 weeks. He's hit a plateau. He's, he's at 215 for the last 7 to 10 days. Okay, it's been 2 weeks. He's still at the same weight. Let's throw in, a high calorie meal or a different kind of meal or
high carb, low carb, high fat, low fat.
For metabolism. It's not okay. It's been 10 days. Go ahead and go to McDonald's and have a cheat meal. And that's the thing too. People will misconstrue the word cheat meal. Doesn't mean go have whatever you want to have. When it comes to like athletes who have coaches or nutritionists who tell them to have, hey, go off your regimen of this food and have a high calorie meal, it's more so because they need it for themselves to perform. It's not because it's been X amount of days. So I think there's been some misconception between the fact of having that kind of meal. And the thing about it too is everyone has their own opinion behind like a high calorie meal, what they're going to have when they deviate from their actual food regimen. It can be a whole food meal. Like your version can be, you have a ribeye steak from Whole Foods with
something sweet might be fruit opposed to candy,
or a smoothie, or someone else might
or even just fruit opposed fruit or honey opposed to candy. Right?
You're on keto for 12 weeks and you have Jamba Juice and tropical smoothie, or even like a parfait. That's your cheat or your refeed meal, because you want to shock your body with what's been eating. Where most people might think, okay, well, someone who started the weight loss journey and they're used to having burgers and fries from McDonald's or Burger King, they might go to McDonald's and have a refeed. And that was
And I feel like a lot of it, if you're not a competitive person, you're not looking to get on stage, I think a lot of it is just the mental, staying mentally sane.
That's the thing. Yeah.
If you're a smoker, I tell you don't smoke ever again, the chances are you're not going to stick to it. You're going to rebound. So I feel like a cheat meal, or quote unquote, whatever you want to call it, is a way of staying sane and staying on track without complete denial from something, complete like restriction from something. Being
I like
a better
that
word.
Restriction. Yeah, you don't want to restrict yourself anyways when you're on a food regimen. When you're dieting, which is that D word people like, either when you're on a weight loss journey, people get discouraged from that D word as well. They think diet. They think, oh, this is going to be very hard. very difficult, and they already mentally get themselves prepared to fail. So when you actually are on a journey for weight loss, it shouldn't be food.
A journey being a good word.
Yeah, it shouldn't be foods that have it to where you're having to suffer or you're miserable.
Or that cheat meal is a goal once a week or twice a week. So like, hey, 3 days clean, now I can have that one meal off.
Yeah.
And then I get back on track 3 days on, and now I have that one meal off, opposed to eat clean for as long as you can until you rebound and you stop and you go backwards.
That's the thing.
So I know for me personally, having that goal, that little short-term goal every now and then allows me to be stricter here. And even now, like I would say 85% of the week I'm eating clean, I'm fasting, I'm eating quite healthy. And that 15% of the time I'm dabbling, I'm having my CJs, I'm having my candy, I'm having my whatever I want it to be.
And you're no problem.
And that's how I kind of balance it.
And you're still maintaining, you're still hitting your goals, I'm assuming.
But, and I mean, if I'm not hitting my goals, kind of like you said, you need to tighten it up. Or you need to tweak it a little bit. And then both, like from being a father and having a daughter, some of my best memories is having ice cream with my daughter. And I'm sure you can relate to this.
Exactly.
Is doing the fun stuff with your kids. And my daughter was just down here for a couple of days and ice cream, and we're having a bunch of stuff that she wanted to.
Fun stuff, right.
It's the ability to be able to do that, but then also have the tool and the mindset to be able to just pull that back when you want to.
Back to business,
And I've seen you post pictures of your son having ice cream and snacks all the time. And you probably look forward to that, right?
Yeah, without any kind of regret or remorse or feeling bad at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like you got fat from it. It's not like it spiraled into this like bad, like, you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, you if you're still trying to, do this weight loss journey, you can still have days where you have those off days. I usually call it an off day, instead of having a cheat meal, an off day, to where you're deviating from your usual regimen of food, and you're eating something that you don't usually eat, but you're eating it for still a weight loss goal, still a purpose, still. So yeah, I have my son on certain days of the week. If I have him on a Saturday and we're gonna go, to like a mini Grand Prix, if you're in Vegas, you guys know what that is, or go to like CJ's, which is what's it, Italian Ice?
Custard, I love that place.
That place, I'll fit it into my regimen. If you're counting your calories, or either way, you can still have, what you enjoy as food and still lose weight. You don't have to, suffer until you have no choice, but you're going to lose your mind if you don't eat it. That's what people need to find that balance.
It keeps you sane, right?
Yeah.
And we're all human beings, but then you can argue, if you go back 100, 200 years, there's no such thing as candy.
Right.
There's no such thing as cheat meals. You're lucky just to get food on your plate.
Correct.
And it was organic. It was wholesome. It was good food. It wasn't processed. And were we hunting and we were driving across the road to get CJs back then? We weren't.
And we were fine.
Yeah, and we're fine. So you could argue the fact that you don't actually need it either.
Yeah.
But I think in today's terms, where we're abundant with so much high calorie, crappy processed food, where it's so easy, it's next to impossible not to put weight on these days.
Right.
You really got to try very, very hard not to put weight on.
Right.
So I think when we're like that and you constantly have to make decisions, I think it's okay to dabble, but it's your own personal journey.
Yeah.
Like Byron, like how he counts macros.
Yeah.
See him posting like crappy food all the time, but he does it within his realm. He does it within his calories, and that's what works for him.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, he's lean all the time. So
he's considered in shape and shredded year round.
Yeah. So it's a personal way of doing it, right?
Right. That's the thing. So it's like it's not an easy way to do it, but like I was saying, starting off, looking at someone like Byron, or maybe even us, looking at someone who's already in shape, better way to put it, and you're totally out of shape. Haven't ever done a diet at all, and you go to the most extreme diet / a diet that maybe you and I do that might be considered extreme to somebody who has fast food every day, you're going to get burnt out, and you're going to crave that fast food, and you're going to want a cheat meal or a refeed, and you're going to have that refeed more than you need to the point where you're not hitting your goals at all. So I would say, if you are like one of those people who eat a lot of fast foods, start doing whole foods. Whole foods is still going to be your carbs, your proteins, your fats, your fruit, your breads, your pasta still, and you should be able to have that and lose weight because you're going from the fact that you're eating processed foods, high sugar foods that you crave and have an addiction to, because the way that works, we know how sugar affects dopamine like an actual drug. We know how that works. We know how processed foods actually make you crave. When it comes to, I think personally, I don't think foods, and on a side note, I don't think foods are making us get fat. I think it's just the food choices. A lot of these foods that we have are empty calories. They're having it to where we're always craving them. If we're eating actual whole foods that aren't processed, our bodies are going to get fuller faster than we are. And it's not more of an abundance of foods. It's just more of the food choices. If we're actually doing a whole food based diet, then we have the ability to actually get fuller faster and have that satiety mechanism. That we all know there's certain foods that we have that trigger certain hormones. You have X amount of protein that's going to increase satiety, which makes your body not crave it anymore. So therefore you're full. We know if you're doing a lot of whole food based like breads and pastas that have high fiber, you're going to get full. So therefore you're not going to eat a lot of it.
This is I got a question for you. Yeah. Just because you're touching on it, but a lot of cravings, a lot of cheat meals, a lot of like giving up and failing is not eating the right food in the first place, right?
Correct.
And it's kind of what you're circling on right now.
Correct. Right. Yeah.
So let's break that down into like layman's terms for me.
Yeah. Like we can go back to hunter and gatherers. I don't think they were craving and addicting. That's not their
Jolly Ranchers or Swedish Fish, right?
Yeah. They had foods that were whole food based that they actually could
whole food based. What is whole food based?
Yeah, something that's actually from nature, something that you're not having to have man made. So, for instance, they would kill an animal. They would eat the organs. They would give the protein, the actual protein itself to the dogs actually, or whatever they had animal wise to feed that.
I go look at it this way: like you have a steak and rice, or you have a hamburger from In-N-Out, McDonald's.
Yeah.
The steak and rice takes you 3-4 times as long to eat. You're completely full and satiated. Or you have the In-N-Out burger or McDonald's burger, you want 5 more of them.
Yeah, why is that?
That's a good way of putting it, right?
Exactly, yeah. So when you have an actual, whole food based, meaning you have food that's actually made natural as possible.
Real food.
Yeah,
real food.
Store-bought food, nothing in a box, something that expires the same day, put it that way. Your body is going to utilize that food and get fuller faster because it's actually whole food based. A lot of these foods that we're getting on the shelf and packaged foods, they're going to have it to where we have no satiety mechanism, no full signal turn on in our minds because our body doesn't realize it's food necessarily. It might actually consider it more of a drug to where we crave more of it, like sugar, for instance.
That's a really interesting way of putting it.
So
that's a super interesting way of putting it. And tell me if I'm wrong here. If you eat a food and it's not fulfilling what your body needs, do you continue to stay hungry?
Yeah, your mind's going to keep on.
Meaning vitamins, minerals, things like that. Yep. Your body's going to crave more until it gets what it needs.
Correct. And it also might deplete your body of other minerals too, to where you're actually becoming nutrient balanced, and you're also becoming more craving of that food, even though there's no calories in it. It's not. Okay. There's no sufficient calories to where your body's actually craving more of it. You're getting no benefit out of it, and you're causing more destruction as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'll consider like serving like Skittles or like Reese Cups or Starburst. I'll consider those like Frankenstein food. Food that's dead, not alive. You can eat
Frankenstein food.
You can eat it and feel like you're fine, but there's no. You're like
it's got zero benefit to you, right?
You're like just functioning through through sugar, and then we know when you have that sugar, it's like a drug. You feel great, and then you crash. Oh, I need more sugar, then you crash. Oh, I need more.
Gotcha.
I can see like Frankenstein, how he's kind of like half alive. He's moving around. So that's what I tell my son. Hey, this is Frankenstein food.
Okay,
this is like zombie food. That way, he's like, I don't want to be a zombie. I'm like, yeah, it's.
I like that.
When you have your actual fruits, the fiber in the fruits is going to avoid that insulin spike, so you don't crash. If you have an apple, you shouldn't crash. The actual skin itself, the prebiotic fiber, it's going to keep your blood sugar stable. Now, if you have a candy apple juice or a candy apple candy, you're going to have that spike and then crash afterwards. Usually,
gotcha.
Which is why you'll crave more as well.
And you're basically getting back to the right food is around, right? It's always been around.
Still,
It's always been around.
Not as cool, but still around.
Yes, I mean like good quality meat and vegetables and fruit and everything which is natural to human existence is the right food.
Yeah, don't compare oranges, apples, and grapes to white sugar. Totally different thing.
A white sugar dyed orange.
Yeah. We could talk about it later.
Or orange juice, which has had the fiber removed,
and
which takes
boy, the juice, whole different story. Yeah,
gotcha.
Not the same.
And then I want to touch on so everybody's so scared of fat. And we love fat, right?
Yeah, they're missing out.
Actually, there's 2 things I want to touch on. Let's actually go back a second. I like what you said. Like, if you're doing keto and you want a refeed meal, that refeed meal, it might be like sushi with some rice.
Yeah.
And you talk about raw fish with white rice, and it's actually really good for you.
I was gonna say, is that
it's not bad at all.
Whole food.
But when you've been eating no carbohydrates for a period of time, that refeed or that carbohydrate it's quite satisfying, right?
Right.
It's very satiating. You appreciate it mentally. mentally it's great because it's something different. It's a different texture. It's a different feeling.
Right.
All of a sudden you're getting glycogen back in your muscles. You're starting to feel like really pumped up and full. So I like what you said about the refilled meal.
But do you crave it? Do you crave more after you finish, or you feel like you're good?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm totally good.
That's the thing.
I'm totally good for the next couple of weeks, to be honest.
That's the thing about it. When you have that kind
until I feel ready to go.
Yeah, that's the key thing about it. Now, if you probably wouldn't have a Slurpee.
You'd want more Slurpee.
You'd probably be like, oh man, I need like get 2 more, 3 more of those.
And then mentally you beat yourself up. I just drank X amount of sugar.
Yeah, because you had that refeed. It's done already.
Yeah, so, and that's not a refeed. That's
a crack feed.
That's a sugar injection in your body.
Yeah.
So going back to fat.
Right.
Fat is amazing for keeping you satiated, right?
Big time.
That's probably my favorite thing about it. Like whether I'll have udo oil, like udo's oil, probably 1 or 2 tablespoons a day.
Right.
Might have with my coffee in the morning sometimes, like a bulletproof coffee. When I break my fast, I always break it with a tablespoon of good fats.
Okay.
Or if I want to push my fast, I've been fasting for 18 hours, I want to push another 2 hours, I'm starting to get hungry.
Yeah.
Tablespoon of fat.
Right.
And I know you're a huge fat advocate too, right?
Yep. 100% grass-fed butter, whole like raw milk from cows, raw butter, unprocessed butter.
But everyone's scared that is the thing that's gonna make them fat, right?
Yep.
But that's gonna. I feel like if anything's gonna stop you from having a cheat meal, I feel like fat is probably. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think for the most part that's definitely the case. And back to what you were saying before, how people still demonize fat, they still demonize salt, but the main white demon. That sounds funny. The main white, the main white thing that's out there, the sugar. Yeah. People still, I don't say glorify, but they kind of ignore the negative behind that, But there's studies that have been debunked and redone, newer studies showing how positive healthy fats are, how positive salt actually is, and how negative.
What is healthy fats? Give me some examples.
Well, we'll stick with what we're doing. We're talking about like actual animal meats. So healthy fats, we have to realize too, a lot of our organs are made up of fats. Yeah. Our liver, our kidneys, our brain. We actually need fat, but some categories are for you to have like a ribeye. And when we say fats,
I had a ribeye last night. It had a ton of fat on it, and I ate all the fat
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have that marble. Either way, we'll talk about. Yeah, I love steak too. I was going to talk about the steak, how it marbled. Either way, everyone's not a steak fan, but red meats in general, whether it be beef, whether it be elk, whether it be bison, venison, all those kinds of actual animals, if they're actually grass-fed, grass finished, they're going to be full of healthy fats, and those healthy fats are going to actually burn the bad fats. They're going to promote good cholesterol, not actually decrease good cholesterol. They're going to help with your blood pressure, help with your metabolism, help with muscle building, help with heart health. And there's so many studies. There's enough studies out there now that show these. We're educators. We're not doctors. Of course, this isn't actually advice. We're just letting you guys know what we've read and what we know. So all that has been debunked. We're now the sugar's coming up and showing how it's negative. But if you're not a big fan of red meats, you got your avocados.
I have avocado every day.
You should have 1 avocado a day, everybody, whether you're vegan or not.
I put in my smoothies. They're amazing.
Smoothie, put in your kid's smoothie. Don't tell them about it. Just drop it in there. They'll never know.
Yeah, they'll never know.
That's
no
the
flavor,
thing,
right?
You'll get their omega-3s. You'll get their fiber. Help with their brain function. Like before they go to school, most kids they have cereal. They have Frosted Flakes.
That's a whole different video, right?
It is.
We do need to do a video on that.
But if you give your kids a quick smoothie, even make your own smoothie, give them half of yours. Drop an avocado in there, put it with fruit and everything else.
Blend it.
Yeah, have this fruit smoothie. Say fruit, don't say avocado smoothie. They'll and there you go. They'll have a better brain functioning for the day, which is what they need first thing in the morning. Because kids go to school too early. That's a different day too. Talk about timing, waking up kids. But you have your red meats. That to me is the ultimate superfood. We can talk about that all day too, regarding the B vitamins and the zinc and the creatine and the hormone spike for growth and testosterone. And then you have your avocados. You also have your nuts.
Yes, because I'm a huge fan of nuts.
I don't consider nuts. Nuts is kind of semi-legume. It's in the bean category. A lot of allergies because of beans. But when you have like your almonds, if they're sprouted almonds are really good. You have your walnuts. I like Brazil nuts. You have your cashews. All those healthy fats as well are really good. But I like in general. I like avocados. And I like red meats. Those are usually like the easiest to digest. There's no allergies, there's no bloating, there's no gas really behind those. And if you have no allergies to red meats, why not do red meats.
And then let's talk like cooking oils, or if you're gonna have some type of liquid fat.
Yeah, those.
What are we leaning towards? Like,
you guys might have saw videos like seed oils and bad
canola
oils.
oil. There's a lot of stuff going on TikTok right now.
Yeah, it's very controversial. Yeah,
it's very hard to find the truth.
Dietitians are like, no, it's okay to do canola oil. It's okay to do olive oils.
Paul, who was on, he said that any oil is okay. It's the way it's processed.
Cooking? Oh yeah.
That's the way it's actually processed in the first place. So any oil is actually okay, but if it's processed the wrong way, it doesn't even matter if it's coconut or whatever it is.
I can agree.
Or extra virgin oil, or if it's not kept in glass and it's kept in plastic straight away.
I was going to
say.
So
that's his opinion. So
yeah, I can agree with them on that. I was going to say, if you're going to buy these oils, if they're not in glass, they're usually being broken down by the plastic, by the sun being out. Who knows if it's been sitting out in the sun or not? But who knows how long it's been sitting in the bottle? A lot of times they can actually go rancid, and a lot of times when they tested actual olive oils, majority of the olive oils they tested were not 100% olive oil. When they tested avocado oils, a lot of them were not avocado oils. So
what do they mix them with?
They're usually mixing like some avocados with flaxseed oil. They're mixing some kind of
just to make it cheaper.
Yeah, they kind of stretch it out, to thin it out, and that, I don't say it makes sense, but it's business, it's marketing.
No, but I always say that from a business point of view, it makes sense. Yeah. Is it right? Should you do it? No, but from a business point of view, I get it.
Yeah, my strategy is if you see a brand in an abundance, Walmart, Costco, Kmart, here, there, it probably has been, stretched out to some degree regarding not 100%. If it's not in a glass bottle, that should be red flag already. And yeah, the convenience of it falling, it fell, it didn't break, it's plastic, that's great. But if you want a quality fat, you gotta,
that's breaking inside your body, mind you.
Yeah, you gotta, that's fine. That's funny and the truth too, yeah. So it's the convenience. You don't want to choose convenience always. If you see this brand that's not very popular in a glass bottle, I bet my money on that. Now, when it comes to me, what do I use for my family for cooking oils? I like using beef tallow.
Beef tallow.
Yeah, beef tallow, because for one, it's not in abundance. It's from beef, and it's a healthy fat, and it has a very high cooking point, and you can use that to cook. Or I'll use ghee. If you have issues with dairy,
I like ghee. For my vegetables.
Dairy issues, maybe not, but I like ghee and I like tallow. And
where do you get tallow from?
And that's the thing too. I haven't found tallow anywhere at all except Whole Foods.
Okay.
They don't have it I haven't seen that at Trader Joe's or Sprouts, at least yet, but beef tallow. And here's a crazy thing about it that's pretty cool. Smash Burger, if you guys know Smash Burger, they actually they don't use cooking oils. They don't use like seed oils like a lot of people do restaurants. They actually use beef tallow for their burgers and their fries.
Interesting.
So that's pretty cool too. So some companies.
So I mean, you can make a better education on your cheat meals.
Some companies, they kind of know what's up. I think Five Guys uses peanut oil, which is, it's at least they're honest about it. And it's a seed oil for sure. But at least they're honest about it, so you know what you're getting into. Yeah.
So I think overall cheat meals, I don't, like we said, probably not calling them cheat meals. Yeah. And not putting pressure on yourself that you actually have to have that.
Yeah, you shouldn't be cheating.
Yeah, but I mean,
cheating to lose weight.
Everyone's a human being.
Yeah.
Everyone's a different age. Some people got kids, some people don't. Some people got families, some people got good positive influence, some people got bad influence. It's working out the balance for you.
Right.
And then, hey, if I am going to have something, do I need to go to McDonald's, or can I just go get a good hamburger at a good restaurant? Yeah. Or can I have some fruit and some yogurt or something, opposed to going candy and chocolate?
Yeah, don't go bonkers,
Or if you do go bonkers, keep it in control in maybe one day or one night or whatever, and then don't beat yourself up about it, and then getting straight back on track the next day, and not let one day turn into 6 months.
That's the key word too. Like most people eat to the point where they're like, oh man, I shouldn't have that. That's where you even made it worse. You had that food, and then your mental health just went down.
That's the thing. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than beating yourself up about it, right?
Don't feel bad about it. Strategize what you're going to do. Strategize about it. I always say, don't just randomly go out and have your off day of food. Figure out what you want to do. Maybe go online.
Yeah, make it count, right?
Go online, see the calories, look what you're going to get. That way you kind of know what you're going into before you go do it, and then you do it, and you feel that you did it right. Because I always have my clients, when they have like a refeed day or have an off day of eating from their regular regimen, I have them still track what they're going to have. Okay, I went to McDonald's and I had a Big Muffin for breakfast, and then I had Jamba Juice, and then I had steak and fries. And it's all written down.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That way, I have an off day. What do I do? Krispy Kreme. Then it's like you had way too much.
You're putting pressure on yourself to go crazy, right?
So that way you feel like you didn't do yourself a disservice, and you still know what you ate, and then you can maybe see how it responds.
And then lastly, use your days off or your cheat meals or refeed meals as short-term goals to stay on track.
Right.
Whether it's once a week and 6 days a week, it's good. 1 day's off. You're doing 3 days on with 1 night off, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if you restrict yourself too strong, you will not succeed and you will fail and you'll bounce back and you'll end up worse than ever.
Nice as that. Yep.
So for me, like I said, mine's probably 15% of the week, 1 day a week. That's kind of where I balance. I'm in my 40s. I got a daughter.
Nice.
Completely different priority. I'm not up there on stage.
Right.
I'm just trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Nice. Realistic.
I mean, so being realistic to where you're at. So yeah, that's cheat meals, guys.
Yep.